Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. It is, where are we? I think it is Thursday. It's Liam's Day. Thursday, the 19th of December. We got big quarterly series, monthly options, futures contracts, index options, index futures. Huge expiry tomorrow, so I get the feeling that the market is moving into that event. And then, of course, we have Christmas and Boxing Day coming up. We've got tax loss selling deadlines 27th. And, of course, the year-end, quarter-end coming up. So lots of stuff going on in the market over the next week or so. It's going to be pretty choppy. And as the theme has been of late, I do believe that the stock market is actually melting up into this one-year anniversary of its meltdown last year. That doesn't seem to be anything stopping this right now. But it is interesting to see at the same time, too, if we are coming into some sort of blow-off euphoric peak here, fascinating to see that the yen is actually trying to carve out a W down in here. So I'm going to keep a close eye on that. And, of course, we have mused of late recently. Surprising to see the oil as strong as it is and the gold hanging in here. So gold's putting up a fight, and you can see it's even up a bit here on the day. And it's not really like I want to short gold. I'm a little concerned that maybe the gold stocks themselves have moved a little too far too fast. But so it's not like I have new buy signals or anything. But I don't really like the idea of shorting gold here just as of yet. And as I said, if we actually get a turn here in the yen, you can see the yen's moved up appreciably here through the day. We might have one of these yen gold blow off top moves here. So be careful, be cognizant of that. And, politically, big bombshells, of course, were dropped yesterday in the U.S. This current executive is the third president to be formally impeached. At least impeachment trial, I guess. The articles of impeachment have been passed down by the U.S. House of Representatives. Is it's all political smokescreen? Who knows? But the long and short of it here is we also had actually some weak housing data that came out today, which is a little bit of a surprise. So you can see the bonds are actually trying desperately to find some sort of bottom here, but I'm still very bearish of bonds, bullish of interest rates, and I've been talking lots about that recently. And then, of course, we have good old Bitcoin off on its own here. Maybe this is like Tom Lee's seeking alpha, but definitely some disconnect going on continually with the Bitcoin price. And then, of course, the question is how much of this is manipulation. And I suppose we'll talk about Bitcoin in a moment when we get to it. Bigger picture, US dollar index, not really much of a change here. My hunch is they washed the stops on the top side, they washed the stops on the downside, and here we are probably back right around the middle of this current trading range. Do like the idea of AB equals CDs taking us down against the lows. But at the same time, too, I'm not really seeing any sort of trade signals here. I think we're just sort of stuck in a range for the time being. Risk on, risk off. As we had said, that melt up into 1 year anniversary of the meltdown last year still going on. And actually, I'm thinking about a bit, we've had some winners here of late in the stock market, so I've got some capital gains I have to deal with. So I'm actually thinking about blowing out my insurance policy that I bought a month or two ago on the stock market and just book that loss and just roll that money right out into the next option series, maybe like the Junes or maybe even Septembers. So I'm probably going to be doing something along those lines into that tax loss selling deadline window and the 1 year anniversary of the sort of blow off top expectations there. So don't be surprised if you hear Brian say something along those lines in the next weeks coming up here. Interesting to see, as we said just a moment ago, we had some econs that came out a little bit soft this morning. So I do believe that the bonds are working lower because of things like crude oil prices, and stock prices. It's technically inflationary. Um, but like I said, housing numbers came out relatively weak, so the market caught a bit of a bid. We were working our way lower here, and this is a very bearish chart pattern, but at the same time, too, terrible new trade location. Could we see some backfilling here, especially if the stocks do end up topping out here into the end of the year? Totally. And then, like we said there a few minutes ago about the gold, if yen actually starts turning up in earnest, then actually we could just get right back into gold bull here. And I noticed that a lot of, like, the gold stocks never really broke down per se of late. It was really more just a question of backfilling. Barrack, backfilling, just kind of going sideways. Yes, we did have that Empire fractal top here, but we've got this big honking W working here. So like I said before, I don't like the idea of shorting these. I just think maybe they just need to clean up a bit. Newmont, same thing. Empire top, huge move up. Maybe a bit of sideways. There's a bit of a gap to the downside here. So, and gold stocks, silver stocks, M top right up in reload short zones at bullish bot objectives. Again, let's maybe get some cleanup here. At the very least, what I'd love to see is like a week or two of sideways to sort of set up our next leg higher, if that's the case. Individual stocks, we've had some crazy ass poppers of lately. The little coffee stock that I was super bullish about, it popped higher. The fertilizer stocks all went nuts. Actually, I've been in there buying tax loss selling, buying lots of crypto related names in the stock market. I think there's some fantastic deals there. I've been wanting to be bullish of the shipping stocks. Let's put it that way. I came in back in the fall hoping that this was a turn, and it failed. I like this Navios just because it has like almost no stock outstanding. I'm a glutton for punishment. I've already got a free position on GBLS. I picked up some of that Sino, but it just completely collapsed. So I'm not really interested in that name. But, like if we look at these on the daily charts, hopefully everybody can see we actually had a cute little bottom come in here. And like I said, I traded, I think, this bottom here, but the trade idea ended up not working, so I walked away. But here we are putting in bottoms again. So when I saw this move into the close yesterday, I was like, screw it, I got to go grab some. So I went and bought this W down in here. So I'm feeling okay this morning, but nothing to really get too excited about. If anything, what I would expect is a nice little test of these lows. But call me a glutton for punishment, but I'm going back in on the long side on some of these shipping stocks. So we'll see what happens there. And then my partner in crime here running the shows, and Mr. Bling. Mr. Bling, you want to say hi? No Bling? There he is. Mr. Bling. He's been a fan of this PCYG Park City. They're in the food processing business, the equipment, things like temperature monitors, software for tracking, food supply chain management, that kind of conversation. He mentioned, and again, low shares out, very low debt, good looking structure. And he pointed out here today, pay attention to this PCYG in here. And hopefully, you looking at this video after a while, if you've been watching these a while, you kind of understand our logic here, coming in basically bottom ends of ranges, looking to sell rallies. But he had pointed out, and I thought this was really interesting, you don't often see weekly key reversals. This would need to close above 520. You can see last trade here is 509. Today's high is 524. But if this thing can close above that 520 level, that would be an outside upside key reversal. You don't see that every day. Very rare event. So these are kind of the names that I'm interested in picking up here. And into tax loss selling, into the end of the year, I have been buying quite a bit of stock lately. So here's just, more examples of Brian stepping into the market. So, as I repeatedly say, I'm not giving you recommendations. This is not financial advice. This is what I'm doing with my money. If you want to join me, great. No guarantees from the management, but I'm in this to make money. So, do with the information as you please. Heading on over to crypto, obviously finding altcoin stories that are putting in weekly W's and stuff like that, kind of a rare commodity these days, but really interesting. And again, this is such a beautiful testament to TRI. If we have more eyeballs looking at the market, we see more ideas. And somebody posted this simple token, OST, in the lounge this morning. And this is exactly the kind of risk I like taking. Keep in mind, I'm looking at it versus USD. Now, you look at this chart, and then you look at the Bitcoin chart, and hopefully you see quite a bit of difference. I mean, they're not the same creature. And this is why I think it's critical that you do your due diligence on your own individual coins. I actually think that this is another example of a coin that I think can produce a risk-free trade, sell half on a double, kind of idea down the road into upcoming seasonally strong periods, and buy when it snows, sell when it goes, that kind of thinking. So we'll start off comparison wise just looking at the corn and what the hell's going on. You can see reload zones. You can see where the original double bottom is. You can see that we're coming up to a very interesting trend line here, and the market is really fighting at this trend line. Also, too, and for sort of sight people when we're talking levels, I put a tweet out to this effect earlier today, but you can actually see this is that 61.8 higher time frame fib level. The market, ironically enough, literally over the past month, has done nothing but just simply oscillate around this level. So, when we go back to that bigger chart, there is that 61.8, and you can literally see how the market is just playing with this level here. So, ideally, the best scenarios I've found, like risk-wise, highest probability is when you get the market that comes down below 78.6, then W's, and then recaptures 78.6, and you get this beautiful breakout there. That's ideally what I'd like to see out of Bitcoin. But is the market going to cooperate? No, it never cooperates. So we'll see how that goes. But my hunch is, for the time being, you notice and you see these lines here. Every time we break key support, in this case not really so much because we had a whole bunch of support lines here, but here's a good example. Break that low, and then once we clean that low out, big counter trend rally right back into our previous structural fail levels. And I suppose you could argue to a certain degree, break this low and then rally back into previous structural support and resistance levels. Break, even here, break this low, back up, right, and wash all these guys out. Then here, break these lows, rally back up. And actually, it's interesting that it was so weak that it couldn't even get back up into here. New M, break these lows, big spring back. So, these spring back moves shouldn't surprise anybody at all. The problem here, of course, is, what's the trend? What is the general direction of the market? And it's still down. Nothing's really changed here. And, you probably get sick and tired of hearing me say this. I do remember yesterday's video, we had started to see the makings of this reversal, and we talked about the fact that, hey, there was actually lots of signs of bullish divergence down in here. So yet nobody had any business to be slapping on new shorts in the face of Willie Stupid, bullish divs. What are you, asking for trouble? Bam! Get the fuck out. I think as of the end of yesterday's video, I had sort of said I wouldn't be surprised, and I think we were sitting sort of right around here, and I said I wouldn't be surprised if we actually worked our way up into 7,100 and change. 50% rules, and even just the most recent drawing of this. And actually, you know what? I think it aligns with those blocks. So that's probably where we did the video yesterday. And I had sort of said, look, if we can get pullbacks against these candle body lows, I like that as a buying opportunity. If we rally up into 38.2s, 50% rules, that kind of stuff, then I think that's a shorting opportunity. It's interesting how, and markets will sometimes do this, right? This was, in essence, just a midpoint of that move. And sure enough, we had to rally all the way up here. What's really interesting about this, of course, is good old pit traders notice how the market just rallied right into that mountain man level. So ding, 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 mountain gets hit. He shorts, and now he's actually up on his trade. There's also a really good analogy that, that sort of midpoint of the move, this entire move might be just one move. This is the consolidation, and now we have to replicate this move up top. And I thought that was fascinating because when you draw those levels out, the bought objective is nothing more than just a higher time frame 38.2 tag. So if we look at like this chart, I think this will show it. Yeah, there it is. So here is that entire range. It's a huge range. So there is that top straight line down. We might very easily come up and have to tag that 38.2. And this would kind of suck for the crypto kids because this was a new low. In essence, this was a nice stop wash, right? Wash the stops, boom, counter trend rally. I got a sneaky suspicion that's exactly what they're going to do here. If this is trend continuation, we bought our way up. This is going to do nothing more than hit 38.2. Nice big fat stop wash against all those highs. All those stops get washed out. And then kind of what I was saying yesterday is typically I find that crypto loves to rally into Christmas. Get all the crypto kids all bullish, Santa stockings, all that kind of stuff. And then after that event, then we roll over. So maybe this is actually setting up for that trend continuation move. So we've been reviewing on the site this morning this potential trade. And really my attitude here is we have a nice trend line breakout. If I can get a third low here on the other side, there is the bought level, then I'm going to be gunning for up here. I do understand that range traders are stepping in off of things like mountain man levels. And this is what often used to happen in the pits is range traders are short. Brian's trend trader, he's long. We're basically sitting there going, okay, who's going to win? And really, you don't know as a trader. I mean, either scenario could play out. But if I'm right, I get paid $3. If I'm wrong, I lose $1. To me, that's really what is the difference between a profitable and not profitable trader is lose the need to be right. Just simply trade your setups. When you are right, you get paid multiples of when you're wrong. And just rinse and repeat, do it over and over and over. So that's sort of what I'm seeing as sort of the current backdrop for Bitcoin. V-bottom. At some point, these lows are going to have to be tested. The question is, are they still going through the stop wash process? We had bull divergences developing here, so we knew that bears had to cool their jets. Now we just have to wait for the top to develop again if you're thinking bearish and you want to shoot for more downside. Finish off this video, just a quick comment on this one altcoin. Again, beautiful testament to sort of this 1 + 1 = 3 kind of idea that I really do like, and half of the reason why I built this website and this whole sort of community. Somebody in the lounge had mentioned, hey Brian, I'm taking a good look at this OST, what do you think? And I looked at it and I went, holy crap. And the cool part about this is here we are at 1.2 cents. Just to get a double and get a free position is nothing more than just a return to the POC. And you can see that, gee whiz, there's a big old hole here. You could actually see the market just pop right back up into these levels. Remember, I like to look at the coins versus US dollars. And as you can see here, this guy doesn't give a rat's ass what the hell Bitcoin's doing. It's got W's working. We're back down at the bottom ends of ranges. And like I said, just return to the POC. I'm not looking for new highs. Wicks and Dales like to be eaten. You can imagine all these trap bulls would be more than happy to get released. And interestingly enough, actually, we got almost an air pocket here that if this thing does accept, it could jump nicely. So this is a name that I would actually be very interested in. I'm not recommending that you buy it. I'm just telling you this has got my attention, and I'll probably go buy some. So there you go. All right, there's your daily brief recap for Thursday. Have yourselves a great rest of your day. All the best, and bye for now.